Thank you very much. It is fantastic to be here. I love to see so many young faces, and it's wonderful to be here with Judge Pillay, whom I admire, and I have admired her for many years. Thank you, in fact, Judge, for your extremely inspiring words, and most of all, for your invaluable contribution to the advancement of human rights, and in particular, women's rights. Many of us actually cheered your progressive judgment in the Akayesu case that you were mentioning just a few minutes ago, that rape can constitute genocide if committed with the intent to destroy a particular group. Your insight and courage in the courtroom opened the door to major progress in the realization of women's rights, and especially the women's rights to redress in a field that was practically unexplored. So thank you very much for that. Now, listening to your speech, I was reflecting on the contradictions and challenges of our society and whether a human rights-based approach to development can still play a role in an increasingly technological, self-centered, selfish-dominated, vanity-ridden society. Do human rights still have a sense? The framework that we cherished, that we loved, and we, some of us played a small role in building. Is it still a valuable framework, especially in development? Now, the Millennium Development Goals have secured significant gains. Overall, levels of poverty have fallen. Girls' education levels have risen. Malaria and HIV have been reduced. On the other hand, however, it is clear, especially for those working in the development field, like myself, that we are not there yet, and that persistent obstacles continue to undermine basic economic and social rights. Looking at statistics, for example, too many countries lag behind the realization of key development goals. So we're not there yet. Emerging and complex challenges such as food and energy insecurity, global inequalities, and entrenched discrimination have not been successfully addressed, and that's a problem. How to unlock the potential of countries and communities to address such challenges? Will the new Sustainable Development Framework, what we sometimes call Agenda 2030, bridge the gaps and foster the equitable realization of all human rights for all, to use a human rights slogan? Can science, technology, and innovation help us address some of these challenges? Well, in a world increasingly characterized by interconnected technologies, science and innovation can certainly be powerful enablers and drivers of sustainable development, including in the justice sector. And there are many of us in The Hague that work on so-called justice innovations, for example. Rapid technological advancements promise profound improvements to the standards of living of millions. Entire communities have leapfrogged into rapid economic development using new technologies. Now, these present clear opportunities for development, especially in environmental, education, and medical fields. However, there is a question. In order to be sustainable, rapid economic shifts need to be supported by fair laws and regulations. And they need to be based on solid principles of justice, equality, and non-discrimination. Open innovation, science, and technology need to produce more than growth. It's not just about growth. They need to produce sustainable economic growth and contribute effectively to the eradication of poverty and inequality. There is no point in having growth for the purpose of growth. There is a higher objective there, They have to contribute to the eradication of poverty and inequality. The quantum leap envisaged in the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda cannot happen without human rights sensitive laws and fair and reliable political and social frameworks that serve people's needs and interests. And even this is not enough. I have seen in my work at IDLO that a culture of justice supported by effective institutions and good governance frameworks can make the difference between socially blind scientific and technological advancements on the one hand and sustainable human-centered solutions on the other, between indiscriminate access to resources and equitable benefit sharing. So there is a big difference there. Let me say a few words about the idea of a culture of justice and why is it important to foster a culture of justice. A culture of justice fosters a society in which solid principles of justice, equality, and non-discrimination underpin scientific innovations. So you need a combination of the two, where citizens are empowered and aware of their rights, where local and indigenous knowledge, skills, and assets are protected, and vulnerable groups are not excluded. Building a culture of justice means recognizing that peace and good governance are core elements of well-being and not optional extras. And this is in the words of the High Panel on Sustainable Development, High-Level Panel on Sustainable Development. It also means ensuring that everyone has what they need to grow and prosper. And that cities, which are often seen as the world engines for business and innovation, do not become quagmires of alienation, marginalization, and misery for the extreme poor. So there is no point in having technologically advanced cities, and then you have ghettos and pockets of extreme poverty and inequality. It means that open innovation, science and technology must produce sustainable economic growth and contribute effectively to the eradication of poverty and inequality. Now, laws and regulations attuned to cultural values, norms, and perspectives can promote local ownership of development objectives, and this is important. And they can also enable the creation of locally driven, sustainable solutions to global challenges such as climate change, for example, or the prevention of biodiversity loss, or environmental sustainability. In other words, good rule of law frameworks can effectively support sustainable and accessible advances in education, science, technology, and economic growth. They can improve the prospects for peace and security and guarantee benefit sharing on a non-discriminatory basis. Now, to conclude, I would like to return to my original question on the value of a human rights-based approach to development and whether human rights are becoming obsolete in this context. Now, my answer is no, a definite no. They are not obsolete. And yes, we need human rights to support the sustainable development process. We cannot do without. If we want everyone to enjoy human rights, and we want the full realization of all human rights for all, then we must use human rights as a tool in the process of sustainable development and empower citizens to enjoy the benefits of development. So with that, I thank you, Judge Pillay, thank you, Jeff, and looking forward to your questions.